This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Sean is visiting the design studios at Scout this morning, so I'm filling in for today. And now the news. More updates on the impact of the Iran war on the automotive industry. Yesterday we reported that oil hit $79 a barrel. Well, today it dropped below $74. That's good news for automakers, because high prices at the pump could push customers away from high-profit SUVs and trucks. Of course, we're talking about a war here, and things could change very quickly. There were reports this morning that a container ship was hit in the Straits of Hormuz. Meanwhile, the price of aluminum is on a tear because the Middle East accounts for about 8% of global aluminum production. Aluminum prices have been moving steadily upward since last April, and they're up more than 14% since the war started. Some producers have shut down their plants, but most are still making aluminum and putting it in storage for now. Aluminum is very energy intensive to make, and the Middle East's low energy costs make it an attractive production site. But the bigger problem that they face right now is that with the Straits of Hormuz closed, they can't get the raw materials they need to make aluminum. Turns out Chinese automakers are also being disrupted by the war. Dubai is a central hub for Chinese automakers to distribute their cars throughout the Middle East and the northern and western parts of Africa. Last year, they shipped 567,000 cars to Dubai. And with the Suez Canal now at high risk, shipments from China to Europe are being diverted around the Cape of Good Hope at the southern tip of Africa. You know what? Last year, Chinese automakers shipped 164,000 passenger cars and CKD kits to Iran. Needless to say, those sales have come to a complete stop. Okay, enough of the war for now. Let's turn to other developments in the industry. Yesterday, we reported that Hyundai and Kia set record February sales in the U.S., with Kia surpassing Hyundai for the first 2 months of the year. Now we've got some other sales numbers. Toyota was up a little over 3%. Honda was up about 1%. Subaru dropped more than 8%, and Mazda was essentially flat. Interestingly, Honda is now going to focus more on fleet sales, which typically go to commercial operations or daily rental companies like Hertz. According to S&P Global Mobility, only 3.2% of Honda's total sales in the U.S. last year went to fleets. Meanwhile, Nissan is at 25%. Toyota is a little over 9%, and Hyundai Kia are a bit over 13%. You know, I remember when Toyota and Honda executives were openly scornful of the Detroit Three for relying on fleet sales. But, you know, times have changed. And if you can manage your fleet sales properly, they can add volume and profits. As the head of GM's fleet operations told me some years ago, John, if someone asks you if they can buy 20,000 of your cars at a discount, why would you say no?
We help businesses respond decisively to their most critical challenges, from urgent performance improvement to enterprise-wide transformation. We work across the full value chain, in automotive and in industrials, helping clients navigate disruption, drive innovation, and unlock sustainable growth. Alex Partners, when it really matters.
As we've been reporting, workers at Tesla's Gigafactory in Berlin are voting for a new works council this week, and IG Metall, Germany's largest industrial union, wants a majority of those seats. Voting began on Monday, and the results are expected to be revealed later today. The union needs to secure 19 of the 37 seats to win a majority. Works councils allow employees to have a voice in talks with management regarding issues like work rules, working conditions, and hiring and firing. As we reported last week, Tesla and IG Metall were in a bitter feud leading up to the vote. The union accused Tesla of creating a toxic work environment. Then Tesla filed a criminal complaint against a union representative, claiming that person secretly recorded a works council meeting. but the two sides were able to reach a truce, and they agreed not to comment on their disagreements until after the vote. And we'll let you know the results as soon as we get them. Speaking of Tesla in Europe, the EV maker is about to lose out on a big chunk of its credit revenue. Toyota, Stellantis, and Subaru are no longer buying any of Tesla's carbon credits. Those credits allow automakers that do not meet emission targets to buy them from other automakers who are compliant to avoid any fines. But last year, the EU rolled back its plans to heavily fine automakers for not meeting targets by the end of 2025, and it allowed companies to average their emissions over a 3-year period instead. So, automakers don't need as many credits. Even so, Ford, Mazda, Honda, and Suzuki are still buying them. But Tesla's income from credits is starting to dry up. In 2024, it raked in a record $2.7 billion globally from selling credits. Last year, that dropped to about $2 billion, and it's going to drop even further now that the U.S. has eliminated emission credits. Stellantis is in red alert, all hands on deck, emergency mode to boost sales and regain market share. So it's offering 0% financing on the Jeep Wagoneer S, the Dodge Charger, and Chrysler Pacifica for 72 months, and 60 months for the Ram Bighorn and Ram Laramie. You know, that's free money, folks, from a borrowing standpoint, and it's going to make Stellantis' competitors cringe. They're trying to deal with tariffs, disrupted supply chains, EV write-offs, and a weak market. And the last thing they're going to want to do is to start discounting some of their models to counteract what Stellantis is doing. Meanwhile, General Motors is trying to help its U.S. car dealers sell more used cars. It wants them to start posting their used cars on GM's nationwide used car portal called CarBravo. This is a carrot and stick approach. If dealers don't use CarBravo, GM will no longer offer warranties as part of their certified pre-owned car programs. By the way, that portal is open to non-GM models as well, all with the idea of moving a lot more used cars through the system. And GM says people who buy certified pre-owned cars are more likely to return in the future to buy a new one. But make no mistake, this is a move to compete with Carvana, which is emerging as a dominant player in the used car market. And that brings us to the end of today's report. Thank you, all you members out there who support this program. We very much appreciate your support in bringing you the news of what's happening in the global automotive industry.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Alex Partners, when it really matters. CSP, the Composites Solution Partner. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. And thanks to the following YouTube and Patreon members.
Developing today's vehicles, issues can happen in an instant. What good is knowing your problems without the data to solve them? Meet Wireless Neovi Cloud, your secure off-the-shelf solution, empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless Neovi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless Neovi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
At CSP, we work with OEM engineers across the country on their journeys to lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly vehicles. Learn more at thecsp.com.